I want to try to say this in a way to be of service to the most people in understanding what the game players and what we're doing. By the way, there are interlocking think tanks like all over the world trying to like work on this too. It's just this is how we're doing it here. We're doing a number of ways, which is this technology with a gift. First of all, you gotta understand that when we deal with like the sort of this crowd that's in this situation, they're saying, well, they're psychoanalysts or whatever. Remember, at this point, the social sciences and this crowd that runs the institutions, it's all like one thing. They're not doing what they did in the early psychoanalysis movement or something. Remember, one of them is an anthropologist. One of them is a medical doctor. I mean, they're coming into the same thought process as who goes into our UN. It's who's in all teaching in all these institutions. I mean, it's a mode of thought. It happens to be in this they're sort of playing the role of like a psychologist, or they're trying to be helpful in that way, and their way of being helpful is like psychosis-inducing. They bring around an But I think it's the same people in the institutions. But I want to explain something. No, I want to read you something, okay? But what's very important to understand is like one of the reasons that it's a wing that they do send like students to a psychiatrist for saying certain things, or one of the reasons they're harming people. I had to run from that like high-priced place that isn't even really. Those people aren't even really mentally ill. Those people have been like captured by these people who are like doing, want to know what the problem is that they're causing. A lot of them are like trying to like say political things that are happening. But I mean, what they're inducing is what actually is happening. You see, when someone goes psycho, like this kid Lautner or something, or what's actually happening to a person like me when they do their games on me, or what's actually happening to people who are like in the universities and like think that they should do like a terrorist attack, or what's actually happening when people perceiving that what's happening, they should blow something up. I mean, let me explain something. These are like don't experience any shame. But it's an interesting description. If you want to read something like what's actually happening, okay? This is when you have some of these people are unaware of reality. One of the questions I asked the woman is I said, look, let's explain something. I understand like you're doing your game and like this is part of like the therapy thing. Like you don't tell me what you know, but like it's sort of obvious what you know, or what you know about me at least. I said, but I said, listen, I want to ask you right now. Do you believe in an independently existing external world? She said yes. I said, do you believe that the independently existing external world is actually the same for you as it is for me, as it is for a guy in the street, as it is for a black person, as it is for a person in Bangladesh? That is, there's a single independently existing external world. And she sort of hesitated. I said, no, not how we feel about it, or like how I feel about my dad today. I said, no. There's an independently existing external world that is non-debatable, that exists. External to whether or not we're perceiving it right now because we're in a room. Okay, so right. She said yes. Okay, so in other words, they'll say yes if asked. Okay, but what they're doing is a systematic denial of the existence of such a thing, and their theory is incredibly harmful. So what actually happens when someone is confronted with these people, or what happens to me, for example, when these games are played, or what happens to a student when like they ask a question about the math, they're sent to a psychoanalyst, like what is happening? Okay, what's happening when they're doing these theories inside of the World Trade Organization, or they're doing these economic policies, and people the only thing they can think to do, the only thing they can do, is the only strategic weapon against it is to like do a coordinated attack with airplanes or something, or what's actually happening to the individual in such a situation, like from their side. It happens to me all the time with these people. Okay, it's really interesting. So this is a sort of written by this is what is said by someone who's actually been captured. They're under the kind of the interrogation. There are people that are trying to understand what's going on with a person who has been driven into one of these states or something, and they're asking him about himself, and this is going on. They have one. This is like in the High Price Not Us or something what happened, but it's interesting to comment upon it. This was done. This was in Scotland. Okay, right? They bring the person into the room, and the psychiatrist and psychoanalyst like trying to ask him questions and such. So he says this. Okay. All right. Oh, you want to know that too? I tell you who is being measured and is measured and shall be measured. I know all that and could tell you, but I do not want to. What is your name? What does he shut? He shuts his eyes. What does he hear? He does not understand. He understands not. Well, I tell him to look. He does not look. Huh? You there. Just look. 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 What is it? What is the matter? Attend. He does not attend. I say, what is it then? Why do you give me no answer? Are you getting impatient? Are you getting imprudent with me? How can you be so imprudent? I'm coming. I'll show you. You don't see. You think I'm a whore? You mustn't be smart either. You're an impudent, lousy fellow, huh? Okay. Yeah. What's taking place? Right? Okay. Right. He says, Now, okay, so although he the actual like sort of existential, what's called like look at it from objective reality, right? You see, well, although this person undoubtedly understood the questions that were asked to him, okay, he hasn't given a single piece of useful information about himself, okay. What he said was only a series of disconnected sentences having no relation whatever in general to the situation. Okay, that's how the person like answered them. Okay, at that point. Perhaps being interrogated this way for like a year. Okay, what is taking place? Well, there's a person inside all the institutional structures and everything who perceives that this is the sign of what they call these are signs of what they call disease, right? That's one way to look at it. These are signs. The person must say it's rare disease. The way he answers the questions, right? Okay, now. This certainly would have happened to someone like Lautner eventually, because I saw this going on all the time in the psychoanalysis place. I mean, this was like, well, why is he this way? Is that a sign of disease? Do we do a study? Or what's up? Okay, right. Now here's what's interesting, okay? It seems clear that this person's behavior could be seen in these two ways. One, that it's a sign of disease, okay, but in an existential phenomenological construction is an inference about the way the other person is feeling or acting, okay? What is this experience of the person questioning them, okay? It appears he's actually tormented and desperate, okay? What he is about when he's speaking and what is he about when he's speaking and acting in this way, okay? Right, he's objecting to being measured and tested. And he would like what he says to be heard literally, and since the only thing they're doing is testing and measuring, he would simply like to be heard at this point. Okay? In other words, these are the states driven into when someone is systematically denying the existence of an objective reality and with an individual over a long period of time. That's what they're pushed into. And then they say, oh, look, it's a sign of disease. They ran out of games to play and they're pinned. Okay? That's why I ran from that place. When people are unaware of reality and like trying to discover what's happening, it's so dangerous to an individual that these are the other resort is violence, the other resort is to run, or if it's having the kind of genocidal effect it's having in the institutional structures, you start blowing things up perhaps. We don't know. I'm a person who's sort of allowing this to happen so I can like tell you what's happening when people are unaware of objective reality. And even though they'll admit it when you question them, do you believe in a single independently existing external world? They'll have to say yes, but they don't live in it. They don't. I mean, this is why all this is happening.